You said trust is the currency of the digital age. So what's the interest rate on that trust and who's losing the most?
So I love what you say about the definition of privacy, and I like that it goes from this macro, very clear definition, and the way that I think is in systems. So I like to go up to the macro to contextualize privacy, and so I start with the fact that we live in a biosphere, and on that biosphere there are societies, and those societies interact with each other in economies, and in all of that you have people and billions of relational dynamics going on between those people, and there has to be some way of ordering or organizing those dynamics, and some of those ways are explicit, so things like laws, and another way is implicit. That's the cultural narrative. And human rights is somewhere in between. In some places it's codified, and in some places it's not. And so in the space where it's not, that's where really the battle between, or I guess this debate gets acted out, because you can live by your values, and then alongside that is self-interest. And there's a tension between the two. So when we come to this idea of trust, if you think that we are a relational society, like we're social creatures, we know that Esther Perel says that the quality of our lives, quality of our relationships impact the quality of our lives. Those relationships are a central organizing feature, and trust is core to that. So when you have businesses, for example, like this AI aggregator that I once used from the Apple Store, whose privacy and licensing terms basically said, we can take all of the stuff that you type into us and do with it whatever we please, and we don't have to tell you and we don't have to attribute it to you. That kind of extreme, breach of trust is enough to make a person not want to use the thing, or if they're using it, leave the thing. And you see that with Optus and Medibank. When you have data breaches, 7 million people said that they lost trust in Optus, 5 million said that they lost trust in Medibank, around 30% left both. And so the interest is actually, and it's funny because we talk about the individual and their need to be discerning about what they put online. That's only one half of the conversation. I think one way to be able to cater for the diverse privacy appetites of people is to have another group of people who has the balance of power in our society, which is institutions and businesses, to act in their self-interest by fostering trust. Because if you sting the very people that are paying you and are your sole reason for existing, then you don't really have a sustainable model. So I would say that the interest is paid by the businesses, and then what happens, well, I guess I'll answer it in the next question.
Natural segue into the next question is, how do you respond to companies that say we comply with the law, so we're doing enough, and is compliance killing creativity and privacy protection?
Yes. So, on my last point, when we, look at this idea of having privacy as a feature of a company, some will say that this is an ethical issue and it's a legal issue. I would argue it's partly self-interest as well, and it's a commercial issue, because when you have companies losing customers like Optus or Medibank or this AI aggregator who I won't name, but you might know who it is, when they lose customers because they've breached trust, those customers still have needs that need to be serviced. Somebody needs to take care of those customers when they leave. And so I would say that it's actually not enough to just, especially when we are in an age of prolific low trust in public institutions, the businesses of the future that will succeed are going to be the ones that have a worldview that goes beyond just compliance and legality. It actually goes beyond just legal business ethics. And in fact, it goes beyond corporate strategy. It's actually their DNA, having dignity and human rights as an organizing principle, as a design principle of the business, because more and more people, because we've been so, I guess we're over the cognitive dissonance of being lied to and mistreated and exploited, can intuitively sniff cognitive dissonance. They can tell when you're saying one thing and doing another, because our nervous systems scan for safety, and we don't feel safe in the presence of those businesses or institutions or governments that gaslight us. So I would say that to merely live at the hygiene factor of compliance when it comes to privacy and not embody it as part of your identity is an economic opportunity cost.
Thank you.